I'm a record breaker on this fellowship. I cannot take it for granted. So thank you so much, Dr. Faith Musinguzi, for giving me this opportunity to come and speak to ladies. Of course, I know that we are not only ladies. I know that we also have my fellow brothers who have logged in. And I'm sure that it's a very beautiful evening for all of us to come and be here together and share this evening. And I know that so surely we are going to benefit a lot. My name is Dickson Tumuramye, as Dr. Faith has already introduced me. I am married to one beautiful wife who is also logged in from Tanzania, called Prim Tumuramye, known as Mama Blessed Band here at this fellowship. And together, God has given us 3 children. So I'm a proud father because I'm parenting also what God has given us, 2 boys and 1 girl, and still on these streets, they are known as Blessed Band. I love the Lord. I am born again, and it's the reason why I'm here with you. That is one thing that I am really proud about in everything that I do, because if it was not because of God, I don't think I'll be what I am today. I've gone through many life experiences, but when I look back, I always tell myself that if it was not because of God, I wouldn't be what I am. I work at UCU, Head Honors College, but also we have an organization which we are taking care of children who are vulnerable, and so I am part of that. And I'm also a writer. I write New Vision and Monitor about parenting and marriage. My articles come in Daily Monitor weekly, and also in New Vision. They come out on Wednesdays in Mwalimu. So if you're a good reader, newspapers, every Wednesday, you can check out my articles. And yeah, also, I like to talk about parenting. I like to sit with children. I listen from them. We talk. Our parents bring their children and we talk. I have also had an opportunity of counseling many couples, and I've seen the hand of God in my life. And we also have, as Dr. Faith said, we already have a Men of Purpose. It's a group of men where we come and talk to men. You know, as men, we always have issues, but we always don't like to share out like the way ladies do it. But for us, God has given us this opportunity to come and share. And so I have that group called Men of Purpose Mentorship Program, which is also based at UCU. I think I am not sure of my network. I request that I remove my video so that I can have clear network. At least people have seen my face. That is okay with you. Thank you so much, members. Faith, I don't know if you see my slides. I already shared them. I want to confirm that they are seen.
I'm seeing them very well.
Okay, so we are talking about holiday harmony, and we are talking about balancing rest, relaxation, and spiritual growth. And we shall be looking at this from the school perspective. We are looking at children. We are not talking about the marriage or what. We know that soon we are going to be receiving our children back from the holiday. I mean, back for the holiday, back from school. They're coming for the holiday, especially those who are going to be doing exams. I know what our children do go through. Right now, I know that the anxiety is too much for them. They are working hard, make sure that they go an extra mile and excel in their exams. So we're looking at how do we help our children to live in harmony as they come back for holidays. So the holiday we're talking about is not for the adults, where you have to go to the beach, like this lady who was at the beach relaxing and reading her Bible, our book. But still, when you're talking about balancing rest, relaxation, and spiritual growth, I want you to look at this picture and imagine what comes into your mind. What rest do you get? How do you balance that rest, that relaxation? And as you're relaxing and resting and contemplating and whatever you're doing in that mood, how do you then bring in the spiritual perspective that helps you to become a mature Christian? So I was looking at the internet and I was trying to know what generally what a holiday is. And so internet says that holiday typically refers to a specific day or period set aside by law or custom for leisure, recreation, just celebrate or commemorate an event, which could be either from the traditional perspective or from the religious perspective. Of course, we always know that during every end of the year, we have Christmas. And in the middle of the year, especially in April, we have Easter. We also have other events like public holidays, which people enjoy and celebrate, and actually you don't have to go to work. Especially if you're in corporate world, you don't have to go and work, just stay home and relax. Of course, some people don't take it as a day of relaxation. Some else when they want to catch up with their businesses, with their farms and other things. But generally, for those who are always like having a lot of work, there are those who religiously take any public holiday or any holiday for relaxation so that their minds can really rejuvenate and get better than the way they are. And then also, this can come with taking time off from, some holidays come with time, taking time off from work, like when you have leave or maybe school, and it helps people to relax and, participate in other different things according to how they have planned for their holiday. From the school perspective, it is a period which students and often teachers are given time off from regular classes and academic responsibilities. So they come home for usually for 3 weeks to 1 month, and they're just there relaxed and waiting for another term to begin. And this helps them to at least both the teachers and the children have opportunities for rest, relaxation, and even rejuvenate. So that moment is what we always know that we are going to have now, especially for the season of the same of November up to January, because that's almost the prolonged holiday. We are going to have the P7, senior fours, and senior sixes doing their final exams. So they will have a prolonged holiday than almost any other person. So that, to give them an opportunity of resting, because now we know what they are going through, and so they're able to relax and then think about the next level as they look forward to begin a new career. And this helps them is maybe to spend time together with their children, and of course they involve them in different things like cultural activities. Some of them travel to different places, or even including outside the countries. And as they are doing all these things, of course, it comes with personal development, which sometimes they may not be getting it from class. I also looked at harmony because our keywords are two, is holiday and harmony. Harmony again refers to the state of inner peace, calmness, and balance. And then it involves feeling at ease with oneself and the surrounding around you, where you feel free from stress and tension and that anxiety, which actually can lead into depression and even mental health challenges. So it comes with the emotional balance, with your how your environment is, the comfort that you get around you. Some people in their way of relaxing, that's when they are mindful of what is around them. There's that mindful awareness. Comes with mental relaxation, physical relaxation, because you can do physicals and exercises and get better. It comes with mental support from, mental support from your friends and other people. It comes an element of empathy. You feel about yourself, but also have feelings for other people. So since we're talking about schools, I was looking at what used to happen formally. I just picked things which I know what used to happen formally concerning schools. When we were growing up, the competition in schools wasn't so much because most of the schools were public. They were public schools and church owned. So it was not like this, the way what we see these days. But when privatization came, when Museveni opened up for people to start also establishing their enterprises, and the economy was open to people and it was commercialized. We have seen so many schools coming up. And so out of this, we see everyone is trying to come up with a school as a way of maybe having another kind of a job or side income. And mostly it's about profit maximization, not like service or mentorship like we used to have it before. So now that means that the core of that education we used to know is not like the one we used to have. Some core values we used to learn especially in church-founded schools are no longer the same. So private schools are purely after making money. It's just purely business. And so these schools have a lot of high demands in whatever they are doing. And that comes with a lot of pressure. And this report, we were seeing that so far we have more than 1,800 private schools in Uganda, which is almost nearly 60%. Can imagine. So there's so many private schools, and that means most of our children are in these schools. So you find that just almost in a family, we have a child who is in a private school. I was looking at what is happening in these days with schools, and I'm sharing this experience from what I've been hearing from my children who are now already in boarding. They were telling us that some that they always wake up between, of course, even hearing from other parents, between 3 to 5 a.m. Children are up to bed. You find that in a dormitory, there are maybe like more than 40 children, and they have a small bathroom. So they have to wake up early to compete because by either 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. they have to be in class. And so one of our sons was telling us that for them, when they wake up, especially for them, they always wake up at 4. They cannot go back to sleep. They just remain there. Now you can imagine that pressure. Again, of course, we also know that other children wake up between that time to read, and that's when they're preparing for their play. Also, again, which begins from 5 or 4 a.m. I remember my former school. By the time for us, we used to have our play at 6, our morning play at 6 a.m. We'd sleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. But then the years that followed, they started waking up at 3 a.m. and they would sleep at 10 just because of the competition, because people are competing for grades. Again, in some schools, of course, they are fighting for first grades. The competition is so high for first grades, and which must come with for aggregates. So because of this demand from children, they put them on too much pressure, and they are reading so much, and it also affects them. And people are looking for numbers there. They want to make a name. So they start even cheat exams, because they have to make a name and have so many first grades, and then that's when they are celebrating. You've seen so many schools putting the children's names in newspapers and on TVs, which I really don't like. Publicizing children's uh, grades in newspapers. I don't like it because I know that those who did not perform very well and the newspapers, especially maybe if it came accidental that someone was expecting to have maybe, especially like in primary schools, between 4 to 6. Now the child has 8 or 7. They cannot love themselves, and then again you put that child in the newspaper. A child is already feeling that I failed. So some of these things actually come with like embarrassment, which us who are not part of that, we don't even understand what children are going through. And so our children are growing up, they're all seeing these things with all that much pressure. Somehow, when they're out of that pressure, and at the end of the day, you see them starting giving up on certain things that you actually also loved. So if you're a parent, you need to pay attention to what your child is going through, especially now that they're going to come back home. Look at how they are looking at life, how they are, socializing with you at home, as a family. So at the end, you try to become so sensitive on what they have been going through, and maybe they might need counseling at that moment. We have adults whom we see in their adulthood, actually, they act like children because when they are growing up, they miss that opportunity of being children. And so at that point, they are now into fixation, where by now they're trying to get back their childhood mood. And of course, you wonder, how come this person is old, but he's doing such a kind of thing just because of how they were nurtured. So I have seen children who have developed high blood pressure at this time, or they have developed or they are obese. Some of them have completely lost their weight because of the pressure, that academic pressure they're going through. They don't have time to relax, and they're always anxious. So you can imagine, and all this, of course, come back to our children. It's a big toll on our children. I was looking at a newspaper, and I read, and someone was sharing challenges of inadequate sleep. And he said, without deep sleep, children are likely to get sick, feel depressed, be less efficient. Inadequate sleep also leads to fatigue, increase the rate of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, migraines and hypertension. Past sleep also associated with sluggish reaction time. They lose memory. They have high risk of headaches. Of course, all of us, as long as when you don't sleep very well, that is a very big challenge. You always have headache. You can't concentrate. You lose your productivity. Some of them have sore joints. So you reach at work, you are not doing your work very well. Sometimes you can even find yourself you're dozing, and while you're driving, a lot of things happen. For children, they even start dozing in class instead of reading because the whole night they were reading and they woke up very early and there's too much pressure. They end up even dozing in class when the teacher is teaching. So they actually lose concentration as it should be. Um, this how does also this happen for children? So this person was saying that toddlers aged between 12 between 1 to 2 years old need, what time do they need to concentrate and sleep very well so they enjoy that maximum sleep? This person is saying that between 1 to 2 years, these children need almost 11 to 14 hours of sleep. This one who are school children, they need almost 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years, they need 10, 13 hours of sleep. Those who are in upper classes, especially from P4 maybe upwards, they need around 12 hours of sleep. And then for teens, at least 10 to 12 hours of sleep. But as we know, this is not the case usually. What happens at school, and of course what happens even in our families when students come home, sometimes it does not happen, and it's because they are also watching TV, they are doing so many other things, which is a very big challenge. So now as they are coming back home for this holiday, what are you thinking about them? Of course, we've seen some of the dangers that the children go through and get. So this man is called Michael Jingo, who was giving some of those challenges. And how do we create this whole day harmony as we're receiving our children back from home? One, we just emphasize deep and quality sleep. We have a friend of ours who was telling us that his son, who is in now senior 3, who is never to sleep a lot, he can now sleep almost from 3 up to 8 p.m., 3 p.m. up to 8 p.m. They only wake him up, come and take supper. And like the child, every time during the whole day, he takes much of his time sleeping, which was not the case because at school, they wake up at 3 a.m. to read. A senior 3 child. So what do you think these children are going through? So they need that sleep and quality sleep. Of course, sometimes because of oversleeping, when you don't understand your child, you misinterpret that as as if the child is very lazy, as if the child is not very serious. You're like, how come you're sleeping a lot? You're becoming lazy. Some of you, you can even say many words which can affect, which you do not at the end of the day, they affect your child. So we need to minimize what words we also tell our children. Sleep helps in brain growth and development because that's when the mind is when the brain is relaxed and in serious state, that's when it's developing very well, and this helps your child to grow in a way they are supposed to be growing. The brain also stores a lot of information at that moment and gets rid of toxic waste because whatever they have been going through, that anxiety, many things which have been happening to them during that day, or whatever they saw or watched, whatever, at that moment, the brain is trying to now segregate and put what is not, the garbage in and garbage out, trying to sort out what is not supposed to be there and also putting what is supposed to be there. So when your children are not sleeping and they miss that opportunity, that means this will not happen. And before you know it, they always have that mild headache. They are always complaining of things which they do not understand. That's the reason why your child needs a lot of sleep. Also, nerve cells communicate and reorganize themselves very well, which supports a healthy brain functioning. I've already mentioned some of the benefits of a whole day, especially when you look at we're looking at resting. We're beginning with that resting. Why your child needs a lot of resting. It comes with health. That health sleep is essential for them to have optimally learning and memory functioning. Because they have to memorize what they read. So when you like, for me, sometimes there are those moments when I want to be relaxed and maybe I'm resting and want to be in a relaxed moment, and then I'm meditating or I'm thinking through. That's when I can think of so many things. And I have this, how do I go about this? What do I do about this? So this is speaking to our children, but also you as a parent who maybe is lacking that time of resting and you don't have time to relax. This should also be speaking to you. Deep sleep with both stamina and immunity. I'm concentrating on this because I know what happens in our school, that children do not have enough sleep, and which comes with the resting and relaxation uh, component. So I want you to know that I am doing this so much because of what is happening and what is also contributing to high rates of mental health challenges in our context, especially know that in Uganda, more than 14 million are what? Are having mental health challenges. And they said out of 10, almost like 2 people are mentally disturbed. And you could be one of those people, by the way. So check yourself. Sleep allows us consolidate and store memories, process emotional experiences, replenish glucose. Longer sleep helps to stay productive at work and live longer, happier life. Actually, these days, I keep wondering why men die fast, and they said it's because, especially those who have retired, they don't live longer. When you look at men who are widowers and those who have retired, they don't stay longer compared to ladies. Why? Because they are so much anxious. They don't sleep in the night. They're thinking of so many things. Survive. How am I going to be? How am I going to survive? There's no more income. The demands are too high. Before they know it, their life expectancy reduces, and by the time you know it, we are saying rest in eternal peace. So if you are that person who is always anxious and you're thinking about the future when you don't even have control about it, I think you need to relax. Again, as we relax, as we help our children to relax, remember that you need to plan for them throughout. If it's worse, let them have at 7 to 8 hours daily of sleep, and especially even during the day. That's why most of the nursery schools make sure they have some time of giving children, lower ones in kindergarten, to sleep, because they know that is very important. Prepare them to achieve that fixed time high sleep hygiene, which is good for their health, and we have already known what it does, especially to our brains. And time for self-reflection, regulation, and evaluation happens when you're relaxed. When you're relaxed, in your good mood, you're resting, and that's when you can be able to think and meditate, and then your brain can work better. So imagine if this is the same thing that is done to our children. They need that, especially now that they're coming back from school. They need to think about their future very well. They need to think about the next steps they're going to be taking, so their mind is not only focused on academics. And this comes when you're also helping them to eat better, make sure to improve on their diet, because at school, at some schools actually, they are always giving to their children pocho and beans and rice almost the whole week. They can have like meat once a week, or even sometimes no meat, especially in some secondary schools. Some of them actually lose an opportunity of having meat. For me, that was my case when I was in secondary school. Meat was like something would come like once in a term, and then we would celebrate. So, because some schools these days, some things have changed. But at least think about it when they come back home, try to compensate that and balance their diet, and ensure they are eating very well, more than they have been eating at school. Let our children also exercise regularly, because these children are developing hypertension and other challenges, and of course their minds are not so much relaxed. So give them that opportunity of doing exercises, walk around with them, take a walk. You don't need to have a gym at home, or you don't need to have these expensive things. Just take a walk with your children, play with them in the compound, run around in the house, do these small things, but make sure that your children feel like they're exercising as you walk in the room, as you move around, as you play in the compound. All that is helping children to forget about books and then now come back to home and think about home. You can also establish healthy sleeping habits for your children. Like for us, when our children were growing, it was hard for them to sleep during that day. But Prim was always serious on them, and he would say, at this very moment, he would even call the maids and say, have the children slept? They had a routine. So you knew that from this time to this time, they should be sleeping. Of course, some of them just go and cover themselves and then remain just in the bed and covering themselves with a blanket, and you think that they are sleeping. Actually, they are pretending. But when they know it's a routine, even if they go there and they are just covering themselves and pretending, but at least they'll be resting. They'll not be running up and down and not doing A, B, C, D. So they still will be resting, and at the end of the day, they will sleep, and that will help their brains to relax and get back to their moods. So again, now as these children are coming, if it's not easy for you, I've already talked about having a schedule for them. Create a schedule for them. Let them plan for this whole day. What do you want them to do? And what are they going to be doing exactly? And it's better as you create this schedule, let them be part of them. Don't be the one to do it and you say, people, look here. Now, this is your timetable for the whole day. No. If they're not part of it, I am telling you, you'll become a policewoman or policeman trying to enforce, and then before they know it, will be another kind of struggle because at school they are being, hunted here and there. Go to class, go out of the dormitory, run to your dormitory, sleep, do this and that. So there are a lot of instructions here and there. Now when they come at home and they're not part of this schedule, again you'll be like policing them, and now you'll be taking them back to school. So literally, their minds will not be relaxing. They will not be seeing the difference between school and home. But when they are part of that schedule, like for us, we have done it with them. We tell them, okay, give us, actually sometimes we just tell them, give us your schedule. What do you want to do for this whole day? And each one of you, give us your schedule. And then afterwards, we tell them, okay, now let's have one family schedule. We have that long schedule we have had for a long time, where we know that this month, this person will be doing this and this. Of course, now two of them are in a boarding school. But at least we still know that when they come back, and maybe it's within their month, someone will be doing this. Now, like for this October, I'm the one. We are now me and Prim and Deborah, and then we have our mom and our housekeeper. So each one of us has, of course, the four of us. We have only the mom. We have our team. So this month, I'm the one serving water. And my dear, every night, my daughter reminds me, said, "Dad, it's your turn. It's your month to serve water." And because of that, I find it easy for me to not serve around, And of course, you're teaching them that a service is what you offer and don't need to be reminded. And so, of course, we're trying to instill a lot of skills in them. And of course, trying to be an example, because you want what you're showing them today that they will replicate the same tomorrow. So do it. We are talking about relaxation and rest. How do you balance this and create harmony in your family amongst these children as they are coming back for the whole day? Please, I know that we have screens at home, we have phones at home. Some of the children, when they are going to school, those who have phones, we always take phones from them. And then when they come, we give them phones. We even buy them data for the whole month or for the whole day. And so a child is on screen from morning to evening because you are at work. No one is monitoring what they are watching or what they are using their phones for. And you know what even children are watching. So now that you know that they are at school, there's been too much pressure in their minds. Their heads have not been relaxing. Now their brains need to rest and relax and be in that good mood, calm mood. I try to reduce on the screen time. Those phones that you give them, the iPads, the laptops, the computers, the TVs that they are watching from morning up to evening, you need to regulate their time. I know that there are some families who have again a schedule. You say, after doing A, B, C, D, you'll be watching from this time and up to this time. And when it's time for something else, they switch off whatever they are doing. It's also possible for you. But also, it's very good that when you're doing all these things, you have an alternative for them. And you can have games and sports for them. You can have other things which they can do, so that at least what they're not doing here, what you have taken away, the benefits that you have taken away from them at this from watching their gadgets, have something for them. Otherwise, if they're just there redundant, just not at the end of the day, will be very bored, and they will not now start looking for other ways of again watching. And before you know it, they will be borrowing phones from their friends, and they'll be watching them in their beds. They will be pretending they're sleeping when actually they are idle and they are watching those things. So as you take away these benefits, also look for other ways where you can keep them busy. Maybe give them a book to read, or put something else at that moment, so there's no boredom, which can, of course, when they are too bored, some of them will even think of going to visit their friends. And as they go to visit their friends every day, you don't know what will happen. You know what is happening these days. Like the world has gone crazy. There's no uncle. We have heard of daddies who are sleeping with their daughters. I mean, you need to make sure that you keep your children engaged in things which can help them to feel relaxed. Again, I already talked about physical exercises. I want to talk about that again. Have activities which teach their brains. Like, for example, you can have chess, you can have puzzles, you can have ludos, you can have cards. I always play these things with our children. Some of these things which I have at home. Every time I bring them a newspaper, they always look forward to the puzzles there. So you can look for something that can occupy your children, and they forget about the school pressure, so they are relaxed. And of course, we're not all, some of you are already thinking about having coaching for the entire whole day, even when it's third term, and like you want your children to catch up. But there are those schools where the pressure is too much, I pray that you not put your child again on another pressure, which is too much for them to be on coaching, because also that, and you want the child to coach for the whole day, which is not good for them. Set clear expectations for them and boundaries and a plan together. In so that you say we are going to be doing A, B, C, D at this time and this. We have already talked about making a schedule, but also let there be clear boundaries. So that when you say we are going to visit, then someone shouldn't think of a visit which is outside your means, or a visit where they are thinking of sleepovers, or think of what they are going to be doing and make sure you know that they are going to be doing this at this particular time. That's why I put it as a separate point, so that it can keep in your mind. Yes, we have this schedule, and the children are going to be doing this, but where do they stop? What are the expectations? So that there be clear roles that you expect from them. So that when you come back, then there's accountability. Or when you're talking to them, there's accountability. Put them in charge. I already talked about it. When children are put in charge and they are giving their views, please respect them, because you want the children also to become independent, have self-awareness, be great thinkers, be good at decision making. So give them that opportunity and respect their views. All their views may not be good. Some of them may be too childish. But you find that you don't lose anything when you accept what they are telling you. They will say, Daddy, me, like I have told that house, sometimes Deborah can say, Dad, come and serve us water, it's your turn. Dad, I want water. Sometimes I remind her, I'm saying, by the way, I was doing that when you're still very younger because I wanted you to learn. And now that you're old, we expect you to be the one serving us. So, but it gives me an opportunity to listen to what they are saying. When you teach them something, listen to what they are doing, and this helps them to be accountable, because now you know that they're the ones who are going to say, I will did A, B, C, D. Engage them in domestic chores. We know some of you have children who can't even wash their clothes. At school, they are able to wash their clothes and bathe themselves and do other things. But when they get home, the maid has to be the one in charge. You don't want them to cook. You don't want them to even clean the house. You don't even want them to lay their beds. Everything, the maid. And you forget that you're trying to empower the maid who's going to leave your house and go and build a better house for herself. But then your children are going to be so much dependent, to the extent that I've seen old people who are in marriage who have to go back to their homes for their parents to help them. Imagine an old woman, someone who has a husband. They want to go to Cafe Javas to have supper from there. Cost is very expensive. They can't even have a cook breakfast for their children. They want to send, especially when they're still two or three in the house. Everything is that junk food. Is it good for a child? So, as you're doing all this and they're trying to get engaged in home things, you're developing skills which are going to be helpful for them tomorrow. And all this is helping them to feel relaxed from that pressure which they always get from school. Again, encourage empathy and emotional intelligence, so they feel as they're doing this, let them know and have that feeling for others. Let them think about others. And also ask them, so what do you think? How do you feel? What do you think about the other person? Or sometimes actually they can say, for us, we have this, or maybe we don't have this, and other people have this, and then they want to compare themselves. This is where you come in as a parent to say, but this, you need to be like this. You need to think about the other person like this. Maybe for us, we don't have this because of this, but the other person needs this because of this reason. You try to create a balance between your family and the other family that are trying to compare themselves, whether in a positive way or in a negative way, and then you make them understand. Foster gratitude and relationships. Let your children appreciate. Let them be these children who can even go and visit their relatives or visit those people in the village, around their village, who maybe some of us are not living in the villages. But wherever they are living, I know that each one of us in our communities, we have people who are very vulnerable. Let them go and visit such people, take them to face that kind of environment, that kind of situation, which it's somehow out of their minds. Let them know that in our surrounding, we have people who are very poor, who don't even have food. We have this judge who needs help. Let them go and greet that judge, and out of that, it helps them to face the real reality of life. And somehow they're growing up. You also speak to them. What did you learn? What do you think? That also helps them to come with an informed mind. Let them be creative, innovative, seek their ideas. Ask them, how do you want this whole day to be unique, and how can we be so much creative? Let the whole day be different. Don't do a routine every whole day. Let's make sure that you can take your children out If the last time you went to this village, maybe now go to this town. If you have money, you can, go out of the country. Ask them their ideas, and before you know it, you find that you should actually know more than what you know. And that helps you also to understand what your children like and what they don't like. They like things which are out of your family values, then you're able to to guide them in a way that fits into your expectations. And of course, we have already talked about setting clear boundaries, and that helps you to know how they should be performing. Somehow, we always now this Christmas, this holiday has Christmas, which comes with a lot of things that we do, a lot of travels, a lot of it's longer. So we can, and of course we have church activities. We're talking about also spiritual growth. We have church activities. Let them go for camps. Let them go for fellowship. Let them go for Christmas content. Let them be involved in church activities. Children are good at performing when they are still young. They have that, for them, they think very fast, and they don't have so many things in their head, so they can think fast, they can understand very fast. They can learn something in a twinkle of an eye more than us others. So let them go and practice these things at church. At home, involve them in family devotions, and then they be the ones to lead. Let them take the readings, let them do worship. Have that in your schedule. Make sure that every night someone is leading devotion. If someone is doing praise and worship, another one is doing taking the reading. Another one is the one who's preaching. Another one is the one who's reading testimonies or moderating. Have Bible quizzes every night, or maybe once in a week, or whichever way. Have worship nights. At least make sure that this whole day is full of blood, so that they can relax their mind from that examination pressure. Have celebrations, birthdays, anniversaries. We always have these things, and you actually don't need to have a lot of things. If we don't have money to go out for a bigger thing, always come in our house. Then our children are moderating. Then we give speeches. We talk about the person who's being celebrated, whether there is a cake or not, because not always can be Sundays. At least make sure that you celebrate those days. It makes a lot of sense. Where we have those cultural things that you need to keep, make sure that children learn from them. Let them know how the proverbs, the riddles, have things that can occupy them and make them forget about the other pressure which they have had a lot of, which they have faced from school. If you have family businesses, engage them. Let them be part of it. In our context in Uganda, most families do not go beyond 5 years of the anniversary, or even 10 years, because we don't involve our children. You die, and you die with everything. Last time, yesterday I was attending a conference, and someone was saying that, like, the way you see someone climbing ladders and he goes on top of the house and is there alone watching. He doesn't ask people to help him bring the ladders and carry the ladders with him. And so when he's there, he's always viewing the whole world alone. So that's what happened. That even when you die, you are just there in that world alone, and your children are not part of you at all because you did not involve them. So involve them in every family business. If you don't have it, and not one time you start, you have it. Or you have something that a family does, and let them be equally involved. Prioritize self-care for your children. Let them have things which can help them relax their mind, so that they can grow very well. Engage them as you engage them this whole day. Encourage them, talk to you properly, teach them to share their emotions. Let them express how they are feeling, what are their challenges, what are their concerns. Keep asking them their dreams, because sometimes our children keep changing their dreams. In whatever we are doing, let us be flexible. Don't be rigid. When you're so much rigid, you can break. You can actually be stressed. And children, sometimes they can toss you around, they can stress you. But as a parent, somehow don't be that rigid parent who's autocratic, and your rules can't be broken. Children can stress you. So where things go out of your hand, develop one-on-one session with you. Have that daddy or mommy or daughter son day, whichever way that you want to call that day. But make sure that you have your child, all of them. Make sure to give them a day, and you speak to them. We are so busy, but this can be done if you're so much relaxed. So many things: family games, voluntary work, indoor and outdoor games. You can have debates, you can have book reviews as a family storytelling, you can bake something. If you have, for ladies who know how to cook, at least make sure that your children have that moment of having a relaxed mind. As I conclude, remember that your presence in all these things matters more than anything. your presence matters and the gifts that you're going to be giving them, because when you're there with them, you learn a lot, you listen to them, and also feel very comfortable. At least create a week in all these 3 months or 2.5 months, or make sure that you're at home with your children. Practice mindfulness where you know what my comments in this whole day matter a lot. If my child is sleeping so much and I want to comment and I feel like angry, first understand why. Has it been happening before? Like, make an evaluation before you make such a comments or judgments. And if you want to criticize or make that judgment, may it be constructive, that it won't help your child not lose self-esteem. Show appreciation why it matters. And of course, as you show appreciation, don't favor one side. Don't create favoritism. All your children should be equal, because what you think today may be different. The one that you are despising today might be the best tomorrow, but also they are unique. So appreciate them and celebrate them the way they are. Give them some independence so that they can also develop that independence. Don't let them not depend entirely on you. Let them also face the world. Let them also think of them, think about themselves, think of their own things, and share with them, especially for those who have teens. Now imagine like Dr. Faith was teens in her house. If they were, all of them were to depend on her. I've also seen parents who have all the children, but they can't cook food, they can't wash things because they have to wait for instructions. No, give them independence. As a parent, why you feel like things are tough for you, please also take a break so that they can also feel relaxed. I'm here with Deborah, and Deborah is reminding me that I should tell parents that they should also allow their children to have food in the night. So that's part of family chores. So thank you so much, friends. God bless you. I am sure that we are going to receive our children and we're going to give them an opportunity to relax and feel happy, feel like they are back home, and the environment at home is totally different from the environment at school. At least by the time they go back home, they go when they are relaxed, and then that will rejuvenate their mind. That will give them even inspiration to run back to school without feeling depressed during this whole day. God bless you. Back to you, our moderator.
Wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dickson. What a powerful presentation. Wow. Wow, that is very important. It is touching me, and I'm sure it is touching every one of us. I saw one comment saying that what they hate most is when these children are from school and they are subjected to coaching. Now, because of peer pressure of parents, I want children to be like the others they have seen, and that is our children are suffering. Thank you, Dickson, for bringing this out, for reminding us that next time when children come home, we do all this that you have talked about. Children doing some work. Indeed, you find in homes children seated watching TV and on phones, and then other people doing work. Other children who are not born in that family doing work and mates, but at the end of it all, we are the ones who are going to get the consequence of not making our children work. Thank you, Dixon, for reminding us. This is very, very important. Friends, there are so many good comments in the chat. Thanking you, Dixon, for a powerful presentation, and I agree with them. I have learned much, and I am waiting for them to come. I felt like if the holiday could be tomorrow and I exercise all these things. I also want to bring out that men, indeed, like he meant as men, you need to also work hard in this, like what he has said. Yeah, I don't want to dilute what he has said because it is well researched and also from experience. So, friends, do you have any questions for Dixon? Even our time is far, no, we're not far spent, we are on time. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat. If you have a contribution, you can put it. Okay, there's a question here. What do you have for parents who control the TV with news from 7 a.m. to 10, I think, p.m.? especially when they're watching Al Jazeera news about Israel, Gaza, and now whatever, Hezbollah. What do you have for that, Mr. Tumuramye?
Thank you so much. I think I wouldn't say news are bad because all of us need to be informed. Let me give an example. Right now, I had students last week who were involved in the national quiz for Bank of Uganda and New Vision, and we're asking them trending things, or things like quiz. They pick anything from anywhere and they ask you anything at any time from all corners of the world. They were doing sciences, they were doing literature, they were doing history. Some of these were enjoying students being history. So it's good that we can always watch news and get updated, know what's happening here and there. Of course, now because of social media, social media has even killed the print media. Uh, Printing houses are suffering because the sales have gone low because of social media. Because by the time something comes in the newspapers, you've already read it on your social media, so you don't even have to read their side. Or even because of many TV stations now, which are always broadcasting news, no change is happening. So I can say news are not very bad. Watching is not very bad. The challenge is how much is that time that your child is spending on TV. Of course, I also know that there's some families where you find that they are competing for the TV. If dad wants to watch the news, or maybe dad want to watch the news, that's when then that's when the children want to use to watch a certain soap or certain game, something like that. Then there's also that friction between the parents and the children. But I think what we need is discipline in all these things. Is that schedule? Do children know what is supposed to be done when? Do they even know which stations they actually? Another thing which I want to emphasize, that let your children know which station they should watch in your family, because there's so many stations. Bucket I can have anything. There are so many stations actually which have anything, nakedness, things of the world. But we are not of the okay, much as we are in the world, but we're not of the world. So you need to teach them which TV stations they should watch. For me, I am happy that our children know that some of these stations, they are not for us. And even if you get a new maid, they would say, this is not for us, so do not watch it. And it has become a norm, it has become a practice. We don't see them struggling. And even when even if you get tempted to watch it, say, but that station, no, please. So give them time, a limit, and say, this one, no. This news is for this time. Let's watch like this for this time, for this purpose. So that even if you're watching something, let it be for a reason. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And I think also to add on, let me see, the question looked like they were focusing on the parent who's watching so much news and also not giving time.
Or not giving time to children. I think that's
Yes,
selfish, because
yes.
then you're denying your children what I'm talking about, the trending things, the knowledge base. By the way, for me, I don't encourage screen time, but you need to
Mm,
also balance, because as I was saying, you become rigid and then you're the one losing out. I know that our children learn some accent, like Deborah knows American accent. If she meets
mm,
whites, she
mm,
switches immediately. Even the boys, they can, because now they are growing up, for them they're trying to shy away, but for Deborah, she has remained consistent with
mm,
the accent, which just learned because of the cartoons. Because we'd come home and then find them practicing and doing all this. So of course, somehow everything has the good side and the bad side. But I think for the parents, no, they shouldn't be that selfish. Or if
yes.
you want to watch the news, then they should allow them to have watched their things before. So there's no that friction which I was talking about. Don't compete. Because now if you begin competing with your children, before you know it, you have lost authority. And so who's who now in the home? Who is a father, who is a child, if you can't have authority over your children? I think there's a need for balance.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. This has been a very good presentation for me and for all the people from the comments. Thank you very much. God bless you in your ministry, you and your wife, Prim, which are we, as I have read here. I'm going to invite Reverend Gad Mugisa to pray for us.